Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be here to present a study that delves into Indonesia's ongoing journey of agricultural transformation. This paper, titled Indonesia's Agricultural Transformation, a detailed interregional input-output matrix evaluation, 2016 to 2023. I'm Muhammad Abduh from Transdisciplinary Institute from Indonesia. Talking about the agricultural sectors, as we all know, agriculture has long been the backbone of Indonesia's economy and social structure, especially in rural areas. However, despite its importance, the sector faces significant challenges, including low productivity, uneven regional development, and high rural poverty. This paper aims to analyze the current state of this transformation using updated interregional input-output data and give our information on how regional and sectoral linkages influence economic growth, employment, trade, and fiscal impact across the country's diverse provinces. As I share these findings, I hope to provide valuable insight for policymakers, researchers, and stakeholders invested in Indonesia's development. The study highlights both progress and persistent disparities, emphasizing the need for targeted policies that promote infrastructure development, technological adoption, and sectoral diversification. By understanding this complex economic dynamics, we can better strategize for inclusive growth that reduces poverty and creates sustainable opportunities for all the regions. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to our discussion. This paper highlights the persistent economic inequality in Indonesia, especially in rural regions where the agricultural sector dominates. Although agriculture remains a crucial source of employment, particularly for poor households, it contributes relatively little to the national GDP, reflecting low productivity. The structural imbalance contributes to widespread rural poverty and underlines the need for a comprehensive transformation of the agricultural economy towards higher value-added activities and balanced regional development. Addressing these disparities aligns with national policy priorities aiming for inclusive growth and sustainable economic progress. The study aims to fill gaps in understanding by categorizing Indonesian provinces based on agricultural economic activity and rural poverty and analyzing intersectoral and interregional linkages using updated input-output data. It seeks to determine the role and performance of agriculture relative to other sectors and locations, identify key sectors driving economic growth, and estimate the potential impacts of economic stimulus measures. Ultimately, the research intends to provide policymakers with detailed data-driven insights to support targeted interventions, fostering structural transformation and rural development. So, in examining Indonesia's agricultural transformation, several sources recognize the country's transition from a predominantly agriculture-based economy towards more diversified manufacturing and service sectors. The shift is essentially for improving productivity and alleviating rural poverty, which remains a serious challenge due to factors like land degradation, water scarcity, and insufficient infrastructure. The structural constraints necessitate sustainable regional and sectoral development strategies to ensure the benefits of transformation are broadly shared, especially as Indonesia is classified as a transforming nation with uneven economic progress across provinces, based on framework of World Bank. Several studies also see the critical role that balanced growth played in preventing further disparity between urban and rural areas. Technological advances, infrastructure improvements, and enhanced human capital are necessary to boost agricultural productivity and support rural development. Equally important is fostering diversification within rural economies, including promoting agribusiness and value chains that link farmers to emerging markets. However, achieving this requires addressing institutional capacity and aligning national policies with local needs to create an enabling environment for sustainable transformation. Furthermore, some studies find the use of an interregional input-output model effective in capturing the complex economic interaction across sectors and regions within Indonesia. While data constraints present challenges, techniques like IRIS method help update the matrices to reflect current realities. This quantitative framework allows me to analyze linkages and identify leading sectors with high economic leverage, providing a strong empirical basis to derive meaningful policy recommendations aimed at fostering inclusive growth, reducing poverty, and enhancing the overall agricultural transformation process in Indonesia. And this research employed a comprehensive data set primarily based on the 2016 interregional input-output matrix, which captures detailed sectoral interactions across 34 provinces and 52 economic sectors. To ensure the relevance of this data to current economic realities, the study updated the matrix to 2023 conditions using the RAS method, which recalibrates the input-output coefficients by incorporating recent gross regional developing product, domestic product, and rural poverty data. This allows me to accurately reflect shifting economic patterns at both regional and sectoral levels. Additionally, this study categorized provinces into 4 distinct groups: agricultural-based, 2 types of transforming, and urban based on their agriculture, GDP share, and poverty rates, facilitating a nuanced understanding of economic heterogeneity. To explore the economic dynamic further, the study applied the Leonti multiplier framework to quantify how changes in final demand in specific sectors cascade through the economy, affecting overall output, employment, trade, and fiscal revenues. The study combined with backward and forward linked indices to pinpoint the strategic sectors that have significant upstream and downstream effects, thereby identifying leading sectors pivotal to economic growth. By integrating labor compensation and fiscal data, I translated economic output changes into employment and tax effects, enhancing the policy relevance of my findings. Despite some limitations, such as assuming constant return to scale and reliance on data quality, this multifaceted approach provided a robust and comprehensive framework for assessing Indonesia's ongoing agricultural and economic transformation. So this paper reveals the outcome of updating the 2016 IRIO matrix to reflect the 2023 economic conditions across Indonesian provinces. The regional classification showed that transforming provinces Type A and Type B make up the largest share, while agriculture-based provinces are declining but still retain key roles in the economy. The updated technical coefficient using the RAS method reflects shifts in sectoral usage and efficiency, highlighting differences in input-output relationships across provinces and sectors. And then the Leonti multiplier matrix analysis indicates how changes in demand in one sector propagate through the economy. showing substantial intra and interregional economic impacts across sectors, with urban and transforming areas showing higher multiplier effects compared to agricultural-based areas. Further, this paper quantifies the economic significance of key sectors through backward and forward linkage indices, identifying leading sectors primarily outside traditional agriculture. The currently low percentage of leading sectors, both in forward and backward linkages, indicates that the integration among different industries across various regions remains shallow. Deepening these linkages can increase the opportunity for the community to obtain economic benefits from investment in these various sectors. Simulation by stimulating 1 trillion input demand yields approximately 932 billion rupiah in GDP growth in average, 360 billion in labor compensation, and translating to over 128,000 new jobs and increases in exports and imports for about 137 and 67 billion respectively. Tax revenues also show positive impacts, with yields about 25 billion in tax generation. The result underscores clear regional disparities, with provinces with stronger infrastructure and diversified economies experience more considerable economic multipliers, while agriculture-dependent provinces face limitation due to lower productivity and infrastructure deficiencies. This paper emphasizes that Indonesia's agricultural transformation is progressing slowly and unevenly, contributing to sustained rural poverty and significant regional disparities. The low productivity and heavy reliance on agriculture in many provinces create challenges for inclusive growth and balanced development. This paper also highlights the importance of fostering stronger sectoral linkages and diversification to move beyond traditional agricultural activities. Infrastructure shortcomings, especially in transportation, energy, and communication, are identified as critical bottlenecks limiting economic dynamism in agricultural-dependent regions. Moreover, this paper advocates for policy reforms targeting improved education aligned with industrial needs, investments in infrastructure to enhance regional connectivity, and fiscal reallocations favoring productivity, boosting expenditures over consumption. Balanced rural-urban development is presented as essential to prevent resource depletion in rural areas and uncontrolled urbanized process. Continuous updating of the interregional input-output metrics is recommended to enable evidence-based policymaking. This approach will help monitor transformation progress and design targeted intervention to accelerate economic growth and poverty reduction across Indonesia's diverse provincial landscape. That's the summary of this paper. Maybe we could delve more about this paper findings through the discussion. Thank you.